Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another video. I hope this video finds you well. So a couple weeks ago, I did a review of the brand new fragrance by Fragrance de Bois. This one is called PM, which stands for Producer Michael. Courtesy of the distributor, we do have a full bottle giveaway. So we're getting ready to interview or have a casual chat with Michael Blakey, who is otherwise known as Producer Michael. I'm going to be letting you know what you can do to enter for your chance to win a full-size bottle of this brand new spicy leather fragrance. So make sure to stay tuned. Now, before we jump into the interview, I do want to mention that if you're a fan of fragrance-related content, please do consider supporting the channel by subscribing to it. Also hit that bell icon so you could be notified whenever I do upload videos to this channel, and hit the thumbs up button if you take something of value from today's video. It would really mean a lot to me. Now, if you would like to enter for your chance to win a full-size bottle, just go ahead and leave a comment down below. And in 1 week's time, I am going to pin the winner's comment to the top of the comment thread, and then we're gonna have an email exchange. That is the only way that I'm going to conduct the giveaway. I'm never gonna ask you to contact me on WhatsApp or text message or anything crazy like that. So I'm gonna be pinning the winning comment to the top of the comment thread. So make sure to come back to this video in 1 week's time to see if you've won. It's going to say pinned by Redolessence. And of course, when you do see my channel name, make sure it has a little verified check mark on the side. In any case, I'm excited to jump into this interview. So let's go ahead and get it started. So once again, thank you all so much for joining me today. And it is such an honor and a pleasure to be joined by the one and only Michael Blakey, otherwise known as Producer Michael. How are you doing today?
Fantastic. Great to be here with you, Steve.
Really, the pleasure is all mine. And of course, we are going to be discussing the brand new release by Fragrance de Bois, and this is PM, otherwise known as Producer Michael. And I have spent quite a bit of time wearing this over the past couple of weeks since I've acquired it. And I must say, whenever I smell this one, I just think of opulence, something very grandiose, something very luxurious. And I'm sure that's kind of what you were going for, right? So what was the inspiration of PM?
I wanted something very special. And I'm not that well versed with fragrances. I just know what I like the smell of. I don't know what the ingredients are, and it's very difficult, or it was very difficult for me to describe exactly what I was trying to achieve. But I did want it to smell, I wanted it to smell special, and I wanted it to smell different. And I think they achieved it. I'm very, very happy with it.
That's amazing. Thank you so much. And obviously you did an incredible job. And whether you would like to admit this or not, you are a man of many talents and you are quite the artist. So you're a musician, you're a producer, you have all of these skills. And so it goes without saying that, you know, you have a very good finger on the pulse when it comes to artistic expressions, with fragrances being one of them.
Well, it's very kind of you. I put it down to more luck than judgment. I always try my best, and I always try to, you know, make everything as good as I possibly can. I think a little bit of luck has played into that as well. I'm very, you know, glad and fortunate to have had that. The same thing with the fragrance. I mean, like I said, I really don't know what I'm doing or talking about when it comes to fragrance, other than I know what I like. And Fragrance de Bois did an incredible job of interpreting my, what's the best way of describing this? Lack of knowledge, lack of knowledge of the ingredients that went into it, but they interpreted it, and yeah, it came out well. So that's where the luck comes in.
I think you have anything but a lack of knowledge, because I've seen that collection video you did some time ago, and you have quite the fragrance collection, many different brands, many different genres. So I think you kind of knew what you wanted going into it, and I'm glad that they were able to knock it out of the park with this one.
I love it. I mean, I really do love it. They did a fabulous job.
Is there anything about the note of leather that you really like? Because this is a leather dominant fragrance. And what I can say is I've smelled many leather perfumes throughout the years, and it's a fantasy note. So some of them can be a little bit animalic and a little bit like rough and tumble, difficult to wear. Some of them can be overly spicy. Some of them can be musky. But here you have such a beautiful balance of the floral ingredients, the resins, a little bit of citrus warmth in the opening. So is there something about the note of leather that you really, really enjoy?
So one of the things I was striving for, and I don't want to say I was trying to emulate the same smell, but I'm very passionate about cars, and there are certain cars that just have a flavor to them. Rolls-Royce, Aston Martin specifically. Those two cars, and I know many people have never had the opportunity to actually, be inside one, but it doesn't smell like anything else out there. It just smells beautiful. It smells special. And I wanted the same type of thing with the fragrance, and I wanted to use some of those notes if there was a way to do it. And again, I don't know what makes that happen, but I think it has a little tinge of Rolls-Royce and Aston Martin meets Ferrari, So yeah, that was one of the things that I wanted.
No, you could definitely tell there's a certain level of luxury and opulence to it and grandeur that you don't get from a lot of fragrances. And the surprising thing about this one is that it has enough of the floral components and the other warm notes in there that I think increase the versatility of the fragrance. Because a lot of times you have a leather perfume or a fragrance that's overly spicy. You think to yourself, you know what, this is for the winter time, right? Summer, I'm gonna stash it away. But no, I actually think this one is good all year round. And I do recall hearing you say that you do like 1 or 2 sprays with this and that's it. Is that true?
Yeah, I actually spray 1 spray on my shirt or something like that, and it lasts all day. The shirt still has it the following day. It doesn't lose any of the power really, but it's not overpowering to the point where I go, whoa, what is that guy wearing? It's just right. And I want to say something else as well. Very important. I didn't want the fragrance to smell like a car, because what I just said might make it sound like I wanted it to smell like a car. I wanted it to have the special feeling of one of those special cars. And the thing about Rolls-Royce and Aston Martin, I don't know how they do it with their leather or what they do to it, but even a car that's 10, 15, 20 years old still maintains that beautiful aroma. And that's what I wanted from this fragrance. So yeah, they kind of managed to do it.
I know what you mean, because that whole new car smell with like the VOCs, that's not what you're talking about. You're talking about the expensive leather interior that seems to be quite enduring, right? You smell it 10, 15 years later. You did that.
The mix of the leather and the beautiful woods they use and some of the silks and things that they have inside the car all combined gives it that special smell. And this doesn't smell like that, but it has a tinge of that. Yeah,
for me, there's a lot of ingredients that I equate with very like refined, sophisticated, chic, upscale fragrances, whether we're talking about like expensive ambers, of which Fragrance de Bois has many, but leather is one of them as well. And spices always give fragrances like this exotic tinge. And so you have a combination, a little bit of everything in this one fragrance. So I know I saw the video that you did, and you have, I think you own every single Fragrance de Bois fragrance. Is that true?
I think most of them. There may be 1 or 2 new ones that they've come out with that I don't have, because all I wear now is the PM. But I do have a lot of them for sure, more than I should.
I have maybe a dozen, maybe a little more than a dozen myself. Do you have a favorite from the brand aside from your own, of course?
Yeah, I like and I'm going to get in trouble here because I'll pronounce it incorrectly, Sahara or something along those lines.
Sahara, yeah.
Yeah, that one, yeah. I like that one too, and I like that a lot. It's a beautiful fragrance. But
yeah, they have a lot of versatility in their lineup. I've noticed that.
They do.
So one of the things that I mentioned in my review, and you kind of like, glossed over this, which in a great way, this is a very strong fragrance. And I love that about it, because especially, connoisseurs of fragrances, especially people getting into niche perfumes, they want something that's going to be long lasting. They don't want something that's going to be ephemeral. You spray it on the skin and a few minutes later it disappears. And so I can tell with the preponderance of base notes that are in here, mostly that leather accord, this is very, very long lasting, especially if you spray it on clothing.
It really is. And again, I wanted that. That was one of the things that I really, really wanted. But I didn't want it to be overpowering. You know, when sometimes a person walks in a room and you go, whoa, that's strong, and you can't breathe for a second, right? But this is very long lasting, but it's far from overpowering. It's just, it keeps the aroma within itself, type of thing. You're probably laughing at me right now saying, what does this guy, he doesn't know what he's talking about. And they're right.
No, far from it, right? Because we've all met that cologne guy, I suppose, who wears too much fragrance, and
Right,
you know,
right.
you can still smell it lingering in the elevator or whatever. But no, this is a very unique composition that I think is kind of on the enchanting and beguiling side of things, because it's not something you smell every single day. So you smell
Very
it and you're
different,
like,
isn't it?
wow, that's unique. It really stands out.
Well, that was the goal. And again, my hat is off to Fragrance du Bois for doing this, especially interpreting what it was I wanted. And we went through, I don't know how many versions before we actually got it right. And they were getting closer each time until towards the end, there was one iteration that was so wrong. I said, what are you doing? I must have messed up, you know? And then we went back to where we were and just evolved from there. But yeah, it worked.
Honestly, the execution is perfect. And I do believe that it's your experience as a musician, as a producer, and I can kind of empathize with you because I'm a musician as well. I've received formal instruction in guitar for many years. I know everybody's a guitar player nowadays, but I love playing my guitars. And so I think going into it, you saw the artistic value of fragrances, and I think you have a certain appreciation for it, which led to this being such a success.
Well, thank you. It was a lot of fun in doing it as well. And I've got to say, guitar players, being a musician myself, I never understood how a guitar player can play guitar, everything going on at the same time. I play drums, which is kind of easy, but my hat is off to you. Well,
I think the drummer and the bassist are probably the most important players in a band, because if you don't have the backbone or the infrastructure of the song, the guitar players can get lost. And so, you're the most important musician in a band, I would say. Also the most difficult to find of all the bands I played in.
Teamwork, right?
I agree. So you collect a lot of things. Of course, you collect fragrances. You also collect watches. Do you have a favorite watch? Do you have a favorite timepiece?
Oh boy, that's a really good question. I love all my watches. I suppose Patek has to be up there in the tops, as well as Jacob & Co. I don't know if you're familiar with Jacob & Co. They make extraordinary, innovative watches. They're very different to anybody else. They're more like art on the wrist. Rolex, of course, is Rolex. They're kind of a watch where you can drop it on the floor, kick it around a bit. It might get scratched up, but it'll still work. So you have to respect that, right? But I love them all. It doesn't matter if it costs $10 or whatever it might cost. It's each piece is unique, and I buy them because I love them.
I love it. Not just that they're aesthetically pleasing, but there's so much time and attention that goes into the manufacturing of them. And eventually it could become a family heirloom. It's something that withstands the test of time. And I collect a little bit myself, although I don't have any Rolexes quite yet, but maybe one day.
Well, goals, right?
Absolutely. I like to live vicariously through you. I see the tours that you do of the really expensive mansions, and I'm like, God, what I would love to do to be in that pool right now.
Well, some of the mansions that I do, I live vicariously through myself, because some of them are crazy. One in particular was the biggest house in the world, or one of the biggest houses in the world. It was at the time $500 million, 100,000 square feet. I think ultimately it sold for like $140,000. $140 million, I'm sorry. And that house was just crazy. And I'm thinking to myself, I feel poor,
I can't even imagine that. One day we'll see what happens, right? We gotta stay optimistic.
I'm positive.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. So of course, I'm sure everybody watching this video is familiar with who you are, but I will be leaving producer Michael's information down below in the description box. And in addition to the official website, where else can people purchase PM?
It's actually available in many places. Harrods in London.
Oh, great.
I'm very proud of that. And apparently it's one of their best sellers. So I'm even more proud of that. And then select perfumeries all around the world. I don't have the list. I should be smacked, right? Bam. I don't have the list, but there are many stores that are now stocking PM, and they're all having success, great feedback, which is very important to me. I would have actually, interesting, if it hadn't have worked and people didn't like it, I would have asked Fragrance du Bois to pull it, because it's very important to me that people really enjoy this. And that was why it was really made.
I understand where you're coming from, and I'm glad that it is the success that it's become because, you know, it's not only an artistic expression, it's an expression of the people who came together to create it, the perfumer, you as the creative director. And so I love that there is this great olfactive expression that people can enjoy. And I think it has a really nice place in the Fragrance de Bois catalog of releases because they have some really bright ones like, you know, the Oud Blue Intense, I think. They have some darker varieties on the market, but this is a nice balance of the leather, the spices, the floral. So very well done. Hats off to you. And I'm going to be updating the links in the description box below. If I can find a retailer that carries PM, I'm going to list as many links down there as possible. And so, you know, thank you so much, sir, for taking the time to be on my channel today. It really means a lot to me.
Stephen, it's been a pleasure. Thank you for having me. Thank you, everybody that supports the PM brand, and hope you enjoy it. We're in it to win it.
Love it so much. Take care, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you in the next episode. Bye.
Bye.